Donald Trump is going to be commandeering all of television, or at least all of it that has decided to go along with this very obvious publicity stunt that he's doing, with the goal of fear mongering about the non existent immigration crisis that Trump has fabricated in order to justify taking money, potentially through the use of a national emergency declaration for his U.S. Mexico border wall, over which he has already shut down the government. And most media outlets are effectively complicit in this. And I'll talk about that, how that works in a second. From the beginning of Trump's campaign, he fearmongered around immigration. You'll remember Mexico sending rapists and criminals who bring drugs and crime. We will shut down Muslim immigration until we can figure out what the hell is going on. We want people from Norway, not from shithole countries like Haiti. You can say that now because it's quoting the president. We will build a wall and Mexico will pay for it. And then it became clear that Mexico was never going to pay. So Trump instead demanded money from you, the taxpayer. He couldn't get it, so he shut down the government, which has now gone on for more than 2 weeks. And now Donald Trump announced in a tweet yesterday that he will address the nation tonight on television, saying, quote, "I am pleased to inform you," isn't he really, "that I will address the nation, capital A on address. Why? We will never know. On the humanitarian and national security crisis on our southern border, Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is propaganda. This is a propaganda speech. The presidential Oval Office evening address is or should be reserved for actual crises or announcements of consequence. So I disagreed with going to war with Iraq, but I didn't disagree with the use of the Oval Office nighttime address for George W. Bush to communicate that on his orders, bombings had started in Iraq in a lead up to our occupation there. When President Obama announced that Osama bin Laden had been killed, although it wasn't at the Oval Office, it was an evening presidential address, a short one from the White House. So what Donald Trump is doing is he is holding hostage the imagery of the big presidential announcement on national television to lie and to tell us that this non-existent immigration crisis is a crisis when it's not. And that gets us to the networks and the TV channels who are complicit by covering it if they don't live fact check, which I hope that they will, because he's going to lie his ass off. And this is where I'm thinking of doing a live stream tonight, during which I will live fact check Donald Trump's predicted to be 8-minute statement to the American people. The reality is, of course, that border crossing attempts are at historic lows and have been declining since before Donald Trump came into office. So the idea that border crossings are down merely because people are scared of Trump, that's not true. We have a net outflow of undocumented immigrants to Mexico rather than coming in from Mexico. Undocumented immigrants commit crimes at lower rates than American-born citizens. They pay into social welfare programs that they're never going to get benefits out of. The agriculture and restaurant industries, just to name two, would be crippled without undocumented immigrants, and of course, without documented immigrants. There is no crisis, but ABC and CBS and NBC and Fox Network and Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, they are all going to be carrying the speech. So Donald Trump is successfully commandeering television for a pet project waste of money that he has concocted. I'll remind you, because it's not just about evaluating how networks will cover tonight's address, but it's also about the hypocrisy that is there in their decision to air it at all. When President Obama wanted to address the nation about executive actions on immigration, many major networks said, we're not going to air it because it's, quote, overtly political. A fake border crisis, possibly culminating in Trump declaring a national emergency in order to get money for his wall, is the most political way I can imagine of dealing with the issue. And we will see, Pat, how these channels deal with it. I would rather them not air it at all and later tell us what was said and the truth or falsity of it. If they're going to do it, they should live fact check. I don't know if they will.
For a few hours yesterday, there was a question over whether the networks would air the speech. And I was really hoping that they would decide not to, because it's so overtly political and because there's no real crisis at the border. But CBS decided to air it, and then the other networks followed suit. I hope that at least like CNN does that live side by side fact check thing. They did a similar thing with Sarah Huckabee Sanders at a press conference. At least do that, or give Pelosi, Schumer, and the Democrats equal time to give their side of things.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that, the equal time idea, on today's bonus show. And I'll mention right before tweeting about the address, which we were told again will last 8 minutes, Trump tweeted that the news media are crazed lunatics and the enemy of the people. And now that same news media is doing Trump's bidding. So I may do a YouTube live stream and I will live fact check if so. My hope is that the address in the history books will be seen as historians as a turning point and a major political mistake. We'll see about that. One of today's sponsors is privacy.com/Pakman, which is a free service that I myself use. Really useful in many different ways. Takes just a few seconds to link your debit card to privacy.com. Then you can create virtual credit cards that are linked directly to your bank account, and you use those virtual credit card numbers to buy things online, which protects your actual debit card so that it's not spread all over the internet. And one of the best things about it is how their mobile app and browser extensions for Chrome and Firefox make it really easy to use. Let's say, for example, that I'm signing up for a David Pakman Show membership. In the credit card number field, I already see the privacy.com icon. I just click it, choose which of my virtual credit cards I want to use, and the credit card number, expiration date, and security code are automatically entered. I can put in any zip code I want, and I'm done. And if you try to use my credit card number that you just saw on the screen, it doesn't matter because I've already deleted that virtual card, and that's the beauty of privacy.com. There are a ton of advantages to using a free service like this. For example, you can sign up for as many free trials as you want, then just delete the virtual credit card you used and never worry about getting charged for it. It protects you from getting hacked. It protects you when companies are hacked, which happens all the time. It is all completely free. All you have to do is click the link under this video to get started. And for a limited time, they're giving everyone in our audience $5 towards your first purchase when you sign up using that link.